the next level of detail required to produce tender documentation. And again, the clients, because we had the model, there can be subtle changes when you go to this stage. Because we had the model all along, those were minimized, and then the client was able to see what was happening all along the way. And that allowed us then to, again, go to site. At the time, it was quite easy to interact with, again, the contractors and engineers. While I suppose they weren't using a BIM package, I wouldn't consider that to be an issue to discourage a practice from going with BIM, because again, if there's a different section of the building or something like that needs to be looked at, or a particular person wants the information on, you can quickly generate it and issue it. In a 2D package, that would be laborious, and you wouldn't do it, and it would raise the chances of more mistakes. The second project, we briefly go through, was it's a neighbourhood centre in Athy, County Kildare. Again, I suppose it comprises of anchor retail unit, some offices, and small scale retail units. And I suppose the reason that we showing you this today is because, again, we had two clients, because the site was in two separate sites that were brought together, and with slightly different ideas. And also, to push this project forward, we needed a material contravention of the development plan. So that brought obviously the planning authority in at an early stage, and also the local councillors. And because it was a town centre site, we needed to show that this was a worthwhile project, particularly in the current climate, with a lot of work or a lot of buildings that aren't really needed. So with the use of the BIM tool, even from the feasibility stage, we were able to show people what it was likely to be, and then we were able to move it along quite quickly and work up to planning stage using our model. So that, and there was various changes along the way, but it saved us a lot of time, and has provided with success because planning was granted by the authority. One point of note is this sheet here. This is completely generated from the model. There are no lines, no 2D lines whatsoever used in this, and so it worked out quite well. The last architectural project I'll show you is Tullow and South Leinster Tennis and Sports Club. Again, here the model was used to feasibility stage when to gain support for the project and funding, and to really motivate the community for the project. And again, we were able to use the site survey material, and it's again sailed through in planning terms and allowed us to make changes quite easily. So I'll just put you back to Bernard now for the remainder.
So let's move on to the urban design projects. I'll go quite swiftly through here. The first really consists of mixed-use development in Limerick, County Limerick, in Castle Farm. And the brief was really to assess the past permissions and to provide a planning for a residential commercial area and a first leg of a village bypass. And this is actually a project that we did 6 weeks into the creation of a new company, and we use BIM, ArchiCAD exclusively to make this happen. So the first really step we had to do is to assess the past permissions, grants and refusals, and very clearly we can see some evidence of the use of 2D package, the way actually the layout responded to the topography. That didn't always work correctly in some instances. So the very first thing we did really was to assess the landscape topography and to create a whole mesh, a 3D model of the existing terrain to really assess in section-wise to see what were the real constraints. And then we just, I suppose, created this kind of a site layout plan. And again, this site layout plan is not just a 2D representation. It's every single line you can see there. Perhaps the fills are just 2D elements, but it's all 3-dimensional objects actually that are rendered in 2D. So actually, Graphisoft has really mastered now even the presentation of a BIM model in 2D. There was supposed to be an image here to show the whole 3D model. You'll have to use your imagination. But basically, I really wanted to demonstrate with this image is that we had to work out every single square meter in the whole estate, actually, and that we, because of the 3D model, we could really adapt our designs, access, and house designs to suit the topography. And it was extremely efficient. And by the ability of creating automatic section lines through the whole model, I think in the end we had maybe 25 sections. It was quite evident how efficient the system was and how much time we saved. I think from the beginning to the end, like we spent 4 weeks for the complete planning permission, which is quite amazing for just the few of us that we are in the practice. But again, to emphasize here is that actually whenever we have a section, we can update a section, we can just modify the section if we see anything problem in there. There's conflict detection. BIM is fantastic in that you have one central database, and whatever it creates can be modified. That feeds back into the main model. So the next one, very quickly, is Garrystown. It's a project we are working on. Actually, it's completed with Icon architecture, and it's to provide an urban framework plan. And it was really to define opportunities for public realm improvements, brownfield regeneration, and to encourage green village initiatives. So here you can see the site layout plan of the existing village. We have incorporated all our layouts for every single development zone, and that was using our own palette of custom designed houses, preset paths, streets, trees, hedges, the whole lot. So it was only a matter of composing in every single area. And I know it is slightly an unconventional use of BIM in this instance, but it has a very powerful, it's a very powerful tool. As you can see here, for instance, you see the existing village, and then once we superimpose the work we have generated, you can see exactly how it's going to look like perhaps in 20 to 25 years' time. And this is really critically important for local councillors to sell this plan to the population, and accessibility of information is critical in this matter. So this plan was passed without any problem, went very quickly through the approval procedure, and from then we have actually been granted another few projects, actually 3 or 4 villages. So it worked really in our advantage. I'm going to switch over actually to the main conclusions, because this is just another similar projects that we did at Air Manor. Site layout plan to really work on alternative morphology, and again BIM was used to try to generate an image of how it could be. It was actually an improvement of the previous planning permission of 200 houses. So very quickly we could generate views, we could analyze the streetscape, modify the streetscape as we were actually walking through it. And this is just an image of the total 3-dimensional plan in the end, which was actually well received by the client as well in the end, and the local authority. So the final conclusions, BIM improves really the design process. It allows for immersive design, more focused on the design stage and the quality of communication. It improves the quality control at all stages, which is actually extremely important. And it allows for greater precision, reduced tolerance, because we have conflict detection within the package as well, so we don't have to go to the outside third-party software to do that. And we have also, of course, the advantage of a virtual building model, which is a central database in which we have all the data sheets, all the schedules, plans, sections, advanced rendering even. So we're quite happy to work within that kind of a work environment. it proves to be quite efficient. So in the end, just to highlight again the points that were also highlighted by others this morning, we analyze the sites in 3D, we design in 3D, we think in 3D, of course. We live in a three-dimensional world, so it's only natural that we design in 3 dimensions, and we have the potential as well to communicate in 3 dimensions. So it contributes in the end the construction process because we have less projects variations, we have an improved cost control. It has really benefited the project's time frame dramatically for all the projects, and that means greater efficiency in our practice, and also meaning we are more competitive than perhaps other companies using traditional 2D CAD software. So with this, I understand we complete our presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.